Okay, good day everyone. Our topic for today would be about the cybercrime. Now, let's proceed with the background and history of cybercrime law in the Philippines. Actually, we have cases that were the reasons why the legislative branch of our government have created laws with regards to cyber crimes. Yung first dyan is yung I Love You virus that was created by Onel de Guzman. He was just a 24-year-old Filipino man, and uh, he was in his college days. He was required to make a research, develop a program or a software or innovate because his course is Information Technology or IT. Now, ang nangyari, what he created was actually a virus, and it damaged a lot of computers in the Europe and US. Nasa millions of dollars ang damages na nangyari dun sa computers in the world. Now, during his time, wala pa naman kasing law na nagbabawal doon sa act na ginawa niya. That's why he was not penalized no, for the act that he has done. And of course, let's proceed with uh, our cybercrime law. Presently, we have RA 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Yeah, now, prior to this or to 2012, there are no laws existing specifically that criminalizes computer crime. And aside from this, meron pa tayong other laws that are related to cybercrime. We have RA 9995 or the Anti-Photo and Video Voyeurism Act. And of course, we also have our Data Privacy Act, RA 10173. Now, yan naman, ang batas naman na yan, it's more on the protection of our personal information. Lalo na sa panahon ngayon, our personal information is very important kasi yan ay pwedeng magamit, no? Sa masama, like stealing your identity, and then they can pretend na ikaw yon and they might do crimes, di ba? Or pwedeng mangutang sila using your name. And so it's gonna be risky. And now, aside from that, we also had the Republic Act 8792 naman, or the Electronic Commerce Act of 2000. Actually, after nung case ni Onel, nagkaroon tayo ng RA 8792. Okay, but we will go to this law in some other slides. Yeah, now, balikan natin yung RA 10175. Now, ang nangyari naman dito, actually, maraming, kumbaga, sinakop no, yung batas na yan. Kumbaga, marami or malawak yung kanyang coverage. Because what happened here is that it penalized other computer crimes or crimes that are committed through the use of computer that are committed in the World Wide Web. Kung makikita natin sa revised penal code, hindi kasi nabanggit doon kung nabanggit or kung yan ay na-commit using computers, would there be a penalty? Now, kapag may connection doon or kapag ang isang krimen ay nagawa using the computer, then you would be liable by RA 10178. Okay? And isa din sa important na provisions niyan, actually one of the confidential provisions is yung online libel. Kasi before this law, there are a lot of people who commit this even now ngayon. Kahit nga ngayon, marami pa rin ang nagko-commit niyan. Now, ano ba yung elements ng ating online libel? Okay, now, yung first dyan, it should be published. No, halimbawa, may pinost ka. Online, you have published. And then, there should be an audience na makakakita. Kahit dalawa lang yan, they can still be considered audience. What else? Dapat libelous yung post mo or malicious or you are imputing a crime to another person. And dapat yung victim is identifiable siya by a third party. Okay? Now, let's proceed to define the cybercrime. Actually, cybercrime, malawak ang kanyang definition. No? Walang definite na definition for cybercrime because it is a complex type of crime. Same concept din with environmental laws. It is a basket or container of other crimes under the category of cybercrime. And halimbawa, there are a lot of cybercrime. We have cyber libel, cyber pornography, and others. So next, other definition of cybercrime. These are all crimes performed or resorted to by abuse of electronic media with the purpose of influencing the functioning of a computer or computer system. There are three ways kasi on how cybercrime can be committed. There are three elements. Okay? Punta muna tayo doon sa tatlong elements. First element, computer is a target. Ibig sabihin, ang gusto nating sirain, ang gusto nating ma-damage, yung mismo computer. Okay? Now, meron pang next element, no, the computer could either be a tool of crime. You have committed that in, for example, in the World Wide Web. And one good example of this is yung cyber libel. Okay? Kasi kung hindi naman niya nagawa online, it would not be considered as cyber libel. And next naman, computer is incidental to a crime. Ibig sabihin, nagkataon lang, kailangan natin ng tulong ng computer to commit this crime. Now, for example, falsification of document. Pinalsify mo yung resibo or a certificate or any other document with the help of a computer. Okay, so those are the elements. Now, we go back to the definition of cybercrime under RA 10175. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina na yung mga acts na nandoon sa revised penal code, if they took place doon sa borderless realm or the World Wide Web or sa madaling salita sa internet, they would be considered as cybercrime. And the next naman, there are different types of cybercrime. There are 4 categories, but we will not anymore include this in our exam. So let's just skip this one. Let's go to the related laws. And of course, we have already talked about the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. And now we go to RA 8792 or DE Commerce. So under this law, the Electronic Commerce Law, its objectives were to facilitate domestic and international transactions, contracts, and exchanges. Because now, electronic documents na yung ginagamit. For example, you want to make an agreement internationally for a business or what else? Exchanges of probably money or other goods. And we need to sign electronic documents. Okay, ano pa yung kasama dyan? For example, we also have yung mga cryptocurrencies. If you will buy those crypto, kailangan mo na of course, mag-agree doon sa inyong agreement. Meron kayong electronic document. You need to fill out forms. And then you will need to buy. Yan. So those kinds of transactions. And then next naman, the RA 8484 or the Access Device Regulation Act of 1998. So ito naman, we're talking about access devices. For example, any card, plate, code, account number, or ano pa ba ng mga credit cards, debit cards, ayan, that can be used to obtain money. Of course, if you have your debit card, you can withdraw money. You have credit card, you can buy goods or services. Pwede ka magpagas using credit card, mag-grocery using your credit cards. Yan. So, of course, dito, it governs the liabilities of parties in those commercial transactions sa paggamit ng access device. And then, we have RA 8293, the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines. Now, we have actually three types of intellectual property. First is the patent. We have trademark and copyright. Pag sinabi mong patent, it is about inventions, no? Halimbawa, ikaw ay naka-imbento ng bagong machine or pattern. Pwede rin yan, no? You would need to have it patented. Every time na gagamitin na lang invention mo, meron kang makukuhang percentage or commission from that. And then, trademark naman, it's about brand. Pag trademark, no, the brand of or logo of the company, kasama na yan. Even taglines din. Halimbawa, si Jollibee, meron siyang logo. And of course, the name Jollibee, hindi pwedeng gayahin yan ng iba. Kasi naka-register na yan. And even yung logo, hindi rin siya pwedeng gayahin. Okay? And even taglines, no? Halimbawa, yan, si Jollibee, bida ang saya. Diba? They have that. Ano pa? McDonald's, they have tagline, what's that? No, love ko to. And BDO, yan, we find ways. So, and many more. Okay? Now, meron pa tayong natitira di copyright naman. So, copyright naman, it's about music, art, and ano pa, mga textbooks, researches, no? Yan, mapapansin nyo, pag yung music ninyo ay nami-mute, di ba? Kasi merong issues of copyright infringements. So, kapag kayo yun ang pinag-usapan, pag violation yan, no, you are actually violating Republic Act 8293. And then next, let's go to the levels of cyber terror capability. So, in cybercrime, even terrorism pala ay nakukomit na, no, online. Now, paano ito nangyari? There are three levels. Yung first level niyan is the simple unstructured. Anong gagawin dito ng terrorists? No? They will conduct basic hacks against individual systems. Yan. So, mga basic hackings lang that are easier to do for other individuals na hindi pa expert, no, in the field of information technology. And then advanced structured naman, these are more sophisticated attacks. Ibig sabihin, no, it can attack multiple systems or individual networks. Yan, usually, ang ina-attack siya yung systems, no, ng government. So, pwede rin na yun ang i-attack nila or even, sometimes, even banks. Yan. And then, lastly, no, yung complex coordinated. O, ito naman, no, it can cause mass disruption. No? For example, the hack, no, the system of the Philippines when it comes to the stock exchange. So, malaking problem yan. Diba? Or, website ng government. Okay? So, lahat ng system niya, no, that are installed in all of the computers na present in the Philippines. Okay? And the next naman, we go to the mode and manner of commission of cybercrime. Paano ba nakakommit ang cybercrime? Yeah. So first, we have the DDoS attacks. These are denial or distributed denial of service attacks. Paano naman to nangyayari? Okay, ang goal nito to make an online service unavailable and take the network down by overwhelming the site with traffic. Halimbawa, nag-browse or nag-access sila nung site. Okay? And pag marami yung nag-access dun sa site, hindi na kayang i-accept or hindi na kaya ng system, no site, because of the overwhelming of the traffic. Ibig sabihin, marami yung nag-a-access doon sa site. May tendency na mag-down yung system or mag-shutdown yung site because of that. Nangyari yan dun, nangyayari din yan noon dun sa LMS. Pag halimbawa yung users nasa 400 na, naglalag na yan, ang hirap na niyang i-access. So parang ganun lang din ang nangyayari. Pero ito kasi intentional yung DDoS attacks, no? Distributed denial of service attacks. And yung iba naman, nag-install sila sa computer para tuloy-tuloy yung pag-attack, okay, to another computer. Ayan. Then we will skip this video for now. Now, pag isang personal computer lang ang gamit, we only call that denial of service attack. Okay, but if there are 2 or more computers used to attack, a website, then that would be DDoS attacks. And the next naman, we have botnets. Now, actually, botnets, yan ang ginagamit no hackers, no, to hack into your system. Kumaga yan yung ginagamit nila to have control of your computer. Yan. Paano nila malalagyan ng botnets ang ating computers? No, they will send spams or attack the computers through botnets. Halimbawa, nag-send sila ng spam, nagko-contain siya ng botnets, then you have opened it. Your computer might be infested with botnets. And they can also be used to act as malware and perform malicious tasks without you knowing. No, malware, they can damage, of course, our computers. Then we will skip this video for now. And now, let's proceed to another type of cybercrime, the identity theft. There are a lot of victims of identity theft and of course, ang magsasuffer talaga dito yung victim when it comes to identity theft. Ano ba ang pwedeng nakawin? Yung personal information para makapagnakaw ng funds. Halimbawa, siya ay merong dineposit doon sa kanyang bank account. Ayan. Now, pag na-access yung kanyang personal information, pwede nilang makuha yung mga yan. Okay? Ano pa yung mga confidential information or participate in tax or health insurance fraud to gain money that is supposed to be with the owner or supposed to be dapat sa owner yun. And they can also open a phone internet account in your name. They can use your name to plan a criminal activity. Yung sinasabi ko kanina na kapag gumawa sila ng krimen, pwedeng gamitin nila ang inyong pangalan or personal information. And claim government benefits in your name. So, ang dami palang pwedeng mangyari pag nanakaw yung ating personal information. And they may do this by finding out the user's passwords through hacking and retrieve na yung ating mga personal information. Yeah. Then we will skip this for now. And then next naman, we have social engineering. And actually, ito yung method na ginagamit for online scams. Method na ginagamit ng usually budol-budol gang. What would they do? They would make direct contact with you by phone or email. Yan yung mga tumatawag na may mga ino-offer, kesyo, meron daw problem sa yung account, no, and they will help you. Okay, but the truth is, gusto lang nilang makuha yung information para makapag-login into your account. And yun na, pagtingin mo, ubos na yung laman ng iyong bank account. Okay, so may mga naging victim na rin yan. Ito yung mga magagaling magsalita na akala na yung mapapaniwala ka talaga, no, doon sa kanilang pananalita. That is social engineering. Okay, yan yung mga method na ginagamit ng mga scammers. No? Minsan may mga tumatawag, yun pala, scammer pala. Itong kausap natin. Okay. Yan. And then next, we have PUPs or potentially unwanted programs. So, ano naman itong potentially unwanted programs? No? They are less threatening kasi pag na-install mo yung program na yan, they would just uninstall unnecessary software in your system. So, ang mangyari doon, yung mga kasama na apps doon sa iyong software, may mga bigla na lang na uninstall without you knowing. Okay, magtataka ka na lang, hindi ko naman to in-uninstall, bakit naka-uninstall etong app na ito. Ayan. And then, prohibited or illegal content. So, ito yung mga may nilalaman na hindi kaaya-aya or hindi appropriate, no? Ano yung mga yan? Mga sexual activities between adults, no? Or yung mga adult videos na yan. Those could be considered as prohibited or illegal content. Ano pa? Videos with intense, violence, no? And videos of criminal activity. Kasi those videos are supposed to be not disclosed or not shown, no, sa internet kasi pwedeng maka-access niyan ay yung mga bata. Ano pa? Kasama din yung mga materials that advocates terrorism and yung may mga child exploitation materials, no? So, dyan talagang mahigpit even with other countries. Pag may mga about child exploitation dyan, no? Automatically ay tatanggalin nila or buburahin nila yan sa internet. And of course, liable yung uh, gumawa niyan. Yan. And karamihan no, ng mga prohibited or illegal content, yung iba bumibili or nagbabayad para mapanood nila yan doon sa dark web. If you have already heard of dark web. Yan. And then of course, online scams. No? I think lahat naman tayo naka-receive na ng mga scams na yan, online scams, di ba? Yung may nag-text sa'yo, ikaw ay nanalo ng 5 million pesos mula kay Kuya Win. So, yung mga ganyan, no, they are too good to be true. And they would usually be online scams. Pag nag-engage ka doon, baka ikaw ay maging victim ng scam na yan. Ayan. And then next, we have exploit kits. Exploit kits need a vulnerability or bug in the code of a software in order to gain control of a user's computer. So these are tools na naman, no, to commit hacking. Ayan. And yung mga yan kasi, nabibili sila doon sa dark web. So bibilin yan and then pwede mo i-install yung program sa iyong computer to hack another system. Pero that is illegal. Okay? And the next, let's proceed to the term hacktivism. Actually, pinagsama itong hacking and activism. Okay? Or hack and activism. Ano ba ang hacking? Hacking actually is the unauthorized access. Okay? And activism naman, it's being active on advocacies or promoting social change or political agenda. Okay? So they hack for that purpose. And the next naman, we have mirroring. Okay, ano naman ang nangyayari dito? Website mirroring is used as a circumvention tool in order to bypass various censorship blocks on websites. So this technique copies the contents of a censored website and disseminates it on another or on other domains and subdomains that are not censored. So for example, itong website na to, censored siya. It cannot be easily accessed. No, ang gagawin nila, kokopyahin nila yung laman, yung contents ng website na yan, and then they will disseminate it, no, to other websites. So, hindi pala yun yung legitimate na website niya. Okay, so kumbaga parehas na parehas yung appearance ng website from the original. And then they will disseminate that para ma-access siya. No, access siya doon sa mga websites which are not censored. And there's also another document mirroring. So similar lang din siya sa website mirroring. Okay, so ito naman ginagawa to back up various documents and other works. Yan, one example dyan, yung website na Sci-Hub, no? Spelling yan sci.hub. Ito naman, halimbawa, no? Nag-research kayo. Then, may nakita kayong studies na hindi nyo ma-access kasi may bayad sila. Okay? Ang gagawin mo, ang pwede mong gawin doon, if you will search yan doon sa Sci-Hub, kung minsan, na-access siya doon without paying. Okay? But, of course, we're not promoting that. Yan. So, yan ay example lang naman doon sa document mirroring. And the next, anonymity or the state of being anonymous. Siyempre, ayaw naman na ma-identify or ayaw naman ng hacker na siya ay ma-identify. Kaya, siya ay gumagamit ng mga anonymous na mga or mga disposable na mga email accounts. You know? What else? IP masking. No? Or ano ba yung IP? That is actually Internet Protocol. And then next naman, doxing naman is the practice in which private and or confidential documents and records are hacked and made public. No, anong mangyayari dito? For example, may mga confidential documents sa government. And gusto mo na i-disclose yan para malaman ng public. Okay? So, ang gagawin, ililik yung mga confidential documents. Ito ang sample dyan. Okay, so in 2021, actually nangyari na yan, no? Sa ating Office of the Solicitor General. Okay, of course, confidential yung files dyan because Office of the Solicitor General is actually the state prosecutor. Okay, so siya ang prosecutor ng state natin. And then we have already mentioned about denial of service attacks. And even Google was not free from these attacks. Then virtual sit-ins naman, similar lang siya sa denial of service attacks. Kaya lang ito, may mga individual na makikisali. Okay? So for example, lahat kayo, meron kayong computer sa bahay. Then napag-usapan natin sa oras na ito, sa araw na to, sa oras na to, i-access natin to sabay-sabay to overwhelm the site. So those are virtual sit-ins. No, you want to take down a site. Okay. Kumbaga pagtutulungan yung i-take down yung isang site. Okay. Kasi at one time, there are a large number of those who will conduct virtual sit-ins. Yan. Then next naman, web defacements naman. What would happen here? So, i-hack muna yung web server and then papalitan yung content. So, they will deface the content of the website. So, ito ay sample lang. Yung legit na website, hindi naman ganyan dati yung appearance. And then next naman, web redirects. When you say web redirects, no, halimbawa, may bina-browse ka na site, then may napindot ka. Okay? Or pinost mo lang, for example, yung video na pinapanood mo, then biglang nag-redirect sa ibang website. Yan, kadalasan nangyayari yan, halimbawa, sa Facebook. No? Pag browse mo, napindot mo, then bigla ka na-redirect sa Shopee or sa Lazada. Ayan. Okay, so next would be about the geobombing. So what happens here? It is actually one of the techniques used in drawing attentions to human rights issues. So what would they do? They would upload YouTube videos via Google mapping applications like Google Maps or Google Earth. And then it would be seen there that in a particular location, magkakatabi lang yung mga na-upload na videos about human rights issues. And they could draw the attention of the government through this. So here's an example of that. And this is the appearance of YouTube videos on Google Earth. And then next, we have mentioned about the hacking. And I have mentioned that this is the unauthorized access, no, to or control to your computer or to your system. And why do they do this? It could be for some illicit purpose. Okay, so actually we have three types of hackers. We have the black hat hackers, white hat hackers, and the gray hat hackers. Start muna tayo doon sa black hat hackers. So yung black hat hackers, they are actually doing the hacking for a purely evil intention, no, for a malicious intent. So what would they do? They would hack into your system, they can destroy your files, hold your computer hostage, or steal your passwords, no, lahat ng information na nandoon sa inyong accounts or sa iyong system or sa iyong computer might be accessed by criminals and gamitin yan sa masama. Yan. And then next naman, we have white hat hackers. No, yung white hat hackers naman, they are basically security experts. They would hack into your system, pero ang purpose naman is to check the vulnerabilities of your system. No? Yung mga possibilities na ikaw ay ma-hack ng iba. They will check the vulnerabilities for your system, your website, or your account to be safe. Okay? So usually, companies, they would hire security experts. Halimbawa, yung bangko, nag-hire siya ng security expert para ma-secure nila, no, yung mga accounts ng kanilang clients. Okay? Or makita yung system, no, kung may kahinaan pa yan. Okay? And possible ba na yan ay ma-hack? Yan. So here, may permission, no, may consent yung hacking. And then for gray hat hackers naman, actually, ito 50-50. Okay? Ang nangyari kasi dito, the gray hat hacker would hack into your system without you knowing, and then ipapaalam nila sa iyo ano yung vulnerabilities ng iyong system, and then hihingi sila ng bayad sa inyo. Okay, so kumbaga sila na mismo yung nag-decide on their own, nagkusa sila gawin yan without your permission. Yan. And then, nung nalaman nila yung vulnerabilities, pinapaalam nila sa iyo, then pinapabayad kanila. And sometimes, no, you don't have a choice kasi they are requesting for payment. And if hindi mo to ginawa, yan, they might turn to become black hat hackers. Now, let's proceed to hacking techniques. So, there are some hacking techniques, but of course, we cannot do this possibly without buying or installing programs or softwares for this. But remember that this is not legal, okay? And you should not do this. So first, we have SQL injection or structured query language. So ito, paano naman ito nag-work? Okay. Actually, the vulnerabilities of the software is the reason kung bakit din yan ay yan ang hinahanap no, na hacker to be able to access into your system. So in this technique, uh, they will install no these SQL injections. Okay. And then they would enter portions of the SQL code into a web form entry field. Mostly, halimbawa, doon sa part ko saan kayo maglalagay ng username and password para kayo ay maka-access doon sa site. Kailangan muna ninyo fill upan yan. So here, they will install this program into your computer and then it's like a pick lock. They will commit or parang trial and error siya. Okay? And then, they will try to guess some usernames or passwords and then hahanapin ng SQL injection yung code for that to be or to be ano yan access. Okay? Then it will usually or it is usually an additional command and then when it is inserted no, in the web form, ayan, so it will change the content of the database para magkaroon ng successful login without using the original password. Okay, so para siyang pick lock, they will try no, hanggang sa makuha nila yung code and successfully log in into your account. Pero dito, hindi naman kailangan yung original talaga na password nyo yung ilagay. If the SQL injection found another command and through this, if they inserted that code, then your account will be logged in into. Okay? And the next naman, we have theft of FTP passwords. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. So this is another common way to tamper with websites. What do? Here, they take advantage of the fact that many webmasters store their website login information on their poorly protected personal computers. So, halimbawa, kayo, no, tamad ka na mag-type ng password mo or username. Diba? Kung minsan nag-auto-save yan sa mga device natin. Okay? So, you might be saved or you have saved that, no? Para isang tap na lang, naka-login ka na. Okay? But, pag poorly protected yung ating personal computers, pwede nilang makuha yung ating login information. So, hahanapin lang nung thief doon sa system mo yung login details and then ang gagawin is i-relay na yan doon sa other remote computer. Then, pwede na nilang i-login yan. So, parang ano lang din yan, di ba sa Google, we save passwords. Okay, you can also download your passwords. So halimbawa, access ng thief yung iyong device or yung iyong computer, then they can look for the password there. Yan. And then next, we have cross-site scripting, also known as XSS. So ito, what would happen here? No? For example, we browse sites, correct? Yan. Pag nag-browse ka ng sites, meron ka makikita accept cookies. Okay, and then, para ma-access mo yun, i-click mo yung accept cookies. Now, ano ba yung cookies na yan? Cookies are actually tiny bits of online information. Okay, ibig sabihin, no? Every time na nag-browse tayo ng mga sites na yan, nakakakuha sila ng information para alam ng site, sino ba itong nag-browse. So, every time you re-browse that, they can count that statistically or record kung sino ba yung mga nag-access sa website na ito. Okay? Now, for example, nag-browse ka sa mga online bentahan. And every time you will click, every post there, the website would recognize you dahil dun sa iyong cookies. Now, yung hacker dito, ang gagawin niya, magpo-post siya ng may binibenta rin siya. Pero, yun nga lang, may naka-attach na. Okay? Doon sa kanya post. And if you have browsed that, then, makukuha niya yung information. Ang mangyayari doon, pag nag-browse ulit siya, ang mangyayari, i-recognize na ng website na ikaw yung nag-browse kahit na hindi ikaw yung nag-browse. No, sir. Ayan. Then next, we go to malware. I have mentioned malware. It is a collective name for a number of malicious software variants. Or these softwares can destroy or damage our computer and even our files. Kaya nga, yung mga to, we avoid this para yung mga files natin ay hindi mawala or masira because of the malware. Yan. Now, let's proceed to the types of malware. First, of course, we have mentioned about virus. Okay? So, ano ba yung virus? It's like a biological virus. It can spread quickly and widely, and it can cause damage to the core functionality of your systems. It can corrupt your files. Now, for example, you have opened your file and then hindi yan mabuksan kasi corrupted na yan. Okay, and saan naman yan nakukuha? Usually, halimbawa, kayo ay nagda-download ng mga files or nag-i-install, then may makikita kayong .exe dun sa dulo. Okay? So, medyo mag-ingat tayo dyan kasi baka may naka-attach na virus doon sa ating file. And pwedeng maapektuhan yung ating other files dahil may virus na. Ayan. And then, I have also mentioned this I Love You virus of Onel de Guzman. And actually, ito yung nakalagay doon sa kanyang subject or doon sa kanyang file name. The love letter for you. Ayan. And the next, we also have worms. Worms get their name from the way they infect systems. Starting from one infected machine, they weave their way through the network. So, ito naman, madali silang kumalat kapag connected yan doon sa ating, with the other PCs. Also, very good example, yung nasa internet shop. Magkaka-connect lang yung mga personal computers. And so, it can infect entire networks. Lahat ng nakakonect doon ay maapektuhan pag may worms. And then, spyware from its name, spy. Diba? Anong nangyari dito? The hacker would, or the offender, would spy or would observe what you are doing with your device. And yung spyware na to, it can hide in the background of your computer without you knowing. And ang mahirap dito if you, for example, have browsed or have input your details, your passwords, then they can already steal this information. Then next, ransomware from its name, ransom, okay, or scareware. It comes with a heavy price. Ang gagawin nila, they will lock down your network and then bago ma-access yung sarili mong network, kailangan mo nang magbayad ka sa kanila. Ayan. And then next, we have Trojan horse. I think Trojan horse is very familiar to us. It means unauthorized programmers, and it gains control over another system by representing itself as an authorized programmer. So, halimbawa, akala natin legitimate na program ito, then pagka-click natin dyan, yun pala ay may laman yan na virus. And then logic bombs, actually, it's similar with this Trojan horse. And so, for example, you have installed a software, and then hindi naman siya pagka-install mo magkakaroon na ng virus or ng malware yung iyong computer. Okay? So, ang mangyayari dito is this is inserted kasi dun sa software, no? And halimbawa, you have executed or it is designed to execute malicious tasks, no? If triggered siya ng specific event, hindi naman siya agad-agad. Halimbawa, may part doon kung saan mo yan or may apps doon, no, kung saan yun naka-attach and eventually yan ay nag-trigger, okay, then it could behave like a virus. Ayan. The next naman, theft of information contained in electronic form. So, ano naman ito? Halimbawa, nawala yung flash drive nyo, nawala yung cellphone ninyo, or ninakaw yan, no? Lahat ng mga electronic information doon ay pwedeng makuha din, no? Magnanakaw. And gamitin yan sa masama. Yan. Then, data diddling naman. So, how does it happen? This is altering raw data just before a computer processes it and then changing it back after the processing is completed. So, halimbawa dito sa ano natin, demonstration, yung attacker would modify the data. Okay, bago siya makarating doon sa ating administrator. Okay, then, i-alter yan. So, pagdating doon sa kabilang line, iba na yung information. Then, webjacking naman, pinagsama website and hijacking. So, ano naman ang nangyayari dito? Okay, they take over a website. Yan. So, they gain access sa website. No? Kumbaga, inaangkin na nila yung website na yan. And then phishing, you have already heard of phishing. Paano ba ito nangyayari? Usually, ginagawa yan or nangyayari yan sa emails. Halimbawa, may email na sinend sa inyo, then meron daw security issues doon sa iyong GCash or sa iyong bank account. Then, ikaw naman, no, natakot kasi nakita mo yung email. Pagka-click mo doon sa link, nag-redirect ka doon sa akala mong legit na website, no? Halimbawa ng bangko. Then magla-login ka ng information mo doon. Pero hindi pala yun yung legit na website ng bank. So pagka-login mo doon, nakuha na nila yung lahat ng information mo, login information. Then, ilalagin nila yan doon sa legitimate na website. Yan. And ang ending nun, syempre, ubos na ang lahat ng laman ng iyong account. Yan. So that's phishing. Then email threat or extortion. For example, you have already copied a confidential data, trade secret no, ng companies. Nalaman mo na ang secret formula ng crispy fried chicken ng Jollibee. Yan. Then, ang gagawin mo, mag-email ka sa Jollibee. Pag hindi nyo ako binigyan ng pera, ipapakalat ko yung inyong recipe. So, yan ay example lang. And then, let's proceed to cyber stalking or cyber harassment. Okay. Cyber stalking naman, di ba, from the word stalking, ano bang ginagawa ng stalker? Sila ay nagmamatsyag, sumusunod kahit saan. Okay, so ito naman, ginagawa nga lang siya through the internet. Okay, and it can also be done real time or offline. No, nag-live ka o lahat ng pinupost mo, lahat ng minamay-day mo, lahat yan ay nakikita niya o tinitingnan niya. Okay, kahit ano lang yung nandyan. And pwede rin na masundan ka because of what you post. Yan. And lastly, the cyberbullying or cyber harassment. So ito naman, of course, from the word bullying. Diba? Example niyan, nag-post ka ng iyong picture and then may mga offensive comments doon. That can be considered as cyberbullying or cyber harassment. Yan. Pinaka-common na victim dyan yung mga teenagers, no? To the point na affected na yung kanilang mental health. Okay, and yung iba ay, yun nga, nagko-commit pa ng pwedeng crime, no? Or even, they could commit violence against themselves. Now, how are we going to protect ourselves from cyber attacks. First of all, we have to be aware of all of these cyber attacks. We have already mentioned them already. And now, you also regularly change your passwords. No? Baka naman ang password natin, last year pa yan. Okay? So, password natin dapat regularly pinapalitan natin yan. And it should be a strong password. Ano bang basihan ng strong password? Dapat yan ay may number, may letter. Diba? Sa letter, may capital, may small, and may symbol. Then dapat yan. And of course, yung laging sinasabi, you think before you click. No? Every time yan ay dapat pinapractice natin. Okay? Ayan. So if you want to read more, here are our references, you know, for this lecture. And so that ends our lecture. Thank you and have a good day.